Hey everybody, my name is Yuan Yufeng. Call me Yufeng, and I am the host of the Billions of Buddhas podcast. This is episode one. I'm so excited. I'm here with my good friend Laura St. John. She is a celebrity mindset coach, and I'm just so excited to dive into Laura's amazing work that she's doing, transforming lives, transforming mindsets, transforming identity, and helping people unlock their fullest potential. So, Laura, welcome.
Yupeng, I'm so excited to be here and to be the first kickoff of this. If you are here, you are in for a special treat because I know your intention is so powerful. I would love for you to repeat back to me just to, stamp this moment in time of, your intent of this entire podcast.
Yeah, so I mean, the Billions of Buddhas podcast is to help all of humanity attain enlightenment by sharing the greatest, I guess, contributions that I see modern change makers making in the world, like yourself, Laura. Like, there's so many amazing experts in the world that are doing incredible work to elevate human consciousness and to make a positive impact in the world. So that's kind of what I want to curate with this Billions of Buddhas podcast right here. And that's my ultimate goal. So thank you.
I love it. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Let's go. So yeah, Laura, you are known as a celebrity mindset coach. I'm curious, how did that journey start for you? Like, how did you make your way into coaching?
Well, I know, just like many of us can think and reflect about our careers, that there's a lot of contributing factors that bring us to where each of us stand today, at this moment that you're listening to this. And it's very simple sometimes to attribute it to one big thing in your life, one big negative to positive moment, or some telltale like thing. But for me, when I really reflect back, like now that I'm, been doing mindset coaching for many years, I really think that it is a bunch of moments throughout my life where I saw the power of mindset, the power to think beyond the current moment, which is really led to my definition of getting unstuck. That stuck is just a feeling, and stuck is your inability to see past a current moment in time. That's my definition.
Mm.
So I saw many times in my life now in this, reality that I can look back and see from childhood to today the power that like positive mindset can have when faced against sometimes a life or death situation, a career struggle, a family or relationship struggle, a financial struggle, and I've been through them personally, and I've seen my family go through them, and so there's so many different pivotal times I could say like, oh, I'm a mindset coach because I helped my niece Livy Dunn. She was stuck in her gymnastics, and I knew I could help her get unstuck, out of her head into her heart, and that's why I became a mindset coach. And on another breath, if I was talking to someone with a health condition, I'd be like, oh my God, my mom had cancer when I was 6 years old. She was given 2 years to live. I saw the power of her holding space beyond that moment when the doctors were giving her the worst case scenario. And I could be like, that's why I'm a mindset coach. Or I could think about like my own career pivots or, moves from New Jersey to Colorado to, to California, being like, I went for it. I built confidence. That's why I'm a mindset coach. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's big moments in my life that I can attribute to becoming a mindset coach, and some of the most challenging moments, those really tough times. And there's the simplicity of where I stand today, which is like I'm in so much awe of what I'm able to manifest so quickly. I live in so much deep like gratitude and happiness. I have so much faith in the unknown. Like I actually thrive in uncertainty. And so there's all these contributing factors. And although like it seems sometimes like we want to point to the big milestones that led me here,
Mm.
it's really a compilation of the everyday practical moments where I woke up, shifted something, took action from a positive that has really kept me into this like extremely consistent track on where I am today.
I love it. And what I'm hearing is like, it's not just the big moments, it's your entire life. Like, it's a culmination of all of your experiences. And that's how life is if we're talking about it realistically. All of our little moments and the big moments culminate and compound into who we are. I like to say that I am the ocean appearing as the wave,
Mm.
and we all are like that. And I wanted to ask current wave Laura, if you could speak to yourself at the beginning of your coaching career, what would you tell her to level up as quickly as possible to where you are now?
I would tell her to trust in the process, trust in the unfolding, trust in the unknown, trust in the timing, that every stepping stone, negative or positive, could still lead you to the next catapult. To not judge the moments that feel like are going wrong or negative. They could actually lead you to the greatest next positive if you continue to persist towards the vision. So I really like fully embrace now a level of trust that I would remind that version of me. I do think that version of me knew it deep, deep down because, you have to take those steps in the darkness sometimes towards a vision that you hold in your heart. And it is paralyzing for many people, but that's really, again, the area where I love to teach people to thrive in because if you could take that little step, it doesn't have to be a big step to make a big change, a little step towards the vision, you will be met with something on the other side, like in terms of what you're met with in that energy, something more amazing and surprising than if you were like hyper controlling the process and only, what I see a lot of people do is just getting stuck on the path that you're already locked into
Mm,
versus expanding outside of the scope of that path and stepping into who you're really meant to become in this lifetime.
mm, that is super powerful. I'm curious, like, because sometimes I'll be trusting. Recently, I've been leaning into the power of trust, but
Mhm.
recently I've had some things pop up and it just feels really uncomfortable. How do you trust when it feels like crap?
Yeah, I mean, trust is like the highest manifestation of self-love. The way I teach it is the highest level of unconditional love. So the moment you find yourself putting like an if-then statement around this, like if this would just happen, like reality outside of me changing, then I'd feel better. You are testing yourself. You're not exactly trusting. And I find this with very self-aware people that like in that moment of like disharmony or misalignment. You're feeling it through your body. What happens next with how you judge yourself about that misalignment will either pivot you into what I call the up spiral or tumble you back downwards to the down spiral. And you're always moving forwards, but because time's moving linearly forward in in the way we experience things here, but like either you're pivoting upwards and forwards or upwards and downwards. And so there's a really key moment in that uncomfortable intensity of change. And if you know it's part of change, I have like a slinky here. I'll pull it out on my desk because I teach people about the up spiral all the time and how to, it feels like an up and down process. Like I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm going up, I'm going down, I'm going up, I'm going down.
Yeah,
Like I'm doubting myself, I'm trusting myself, I'm beating myself up, I'm accepting myself, right?
yeah, yeah.
I'm happy. So in the polarity or the duality of things, I flip it on its side. So every time I go to like doubting Laura and it's uncomfortable, I'm keenly aware of that discomfort. And I'm also then like immediately training my brain the same way I train an elite athlete that I must be up spiraling because this doubt is so uncomfortable. I'm testing my newfound strength to even trust myself at a deeper level. It's
Mm,
me testing me.
mm,
And so it's you actually like if the more keenly aware you get of the negative, the more you just know it's the opposite of positive. You don't have to judge it. You must be going through it through a misalignment to show yourself the next level of what actually is aligned to you,
mm,
what is aligned to your heart and your vision. So when I'm in that negative, what happens is your brain is designed to then show you all the evidence of every time you've ever felt that negative. It
mm,
like pulls out a drawer and is like, see, like remember
mm.
all the times this didn't work or you doubted yourself, and it gives you all the reference points,
Yeah.
which is why when you're in the negative, it feels so bad. It feels like 10,000 times worse because you've already expanded beyond it. Like you've
Mm,
already shifted. So the more you move back into that negative, but you've expanded your consciousness, but you're thinking and feeling down here,
mm,
but you've already shifted from here to here. That space between the negative and positive grows.
mm,
So that discomfort, your intuition actually, the way I teach it, your intuition's like kind of even screaming at you more, like that's so not who you are.
mm,
Don't judge it. Maybe you're meant to feel it. I was just coaching a private client that I helped from 6 to 7 figures, and I told her, maybe you're feeling that because she was like, this thing came up again. And I was just like, maybe you're feeling that not only for your own healing and growth to the next level of the positive side of that, but maybe you're meant to feel it for your leadership team. Maybe you're meant to feel it for the audience you're meant to talk to. So sometimes now when I'm feeling doubt, I'm like, maybe this isn't even for me. And it's such a beautiful thought because now I'm like, maybe I'm feeling this today. So when I'm working with thousands of people, like they feel the authenticity of like, I still feel doubt too. I just know what to do with it.
mm,
So, there's a lot of ways from a mindset perspective you can reframe the negative as just the opposite of positive. It's not wrong.
mm,
And if you remove a lot of the judgment and you feel it, and you decide whether you're going to give that negativity 5 hours of your time, 5 minutes of your time, 5 seconds of your time, that you have the power to refocus your attention and energy and thoughts
mhm,
in that energy of the problem and judgment around it or towards what it's guiding you. And, I like to teach people it's usually guiding you to the opposite emotion, like how fast you process that is how fast you can get to the positive like counterpart from a Newton's law perspective. You can go to the opposite action, reaction, positive side of it. So like I've gotten really adept now at teaching people on a very advanced level. Like when you're feeling that, that's not a bad thing. Like use it to be really clear in the energy you do want to like focus your energy and attention on.
mm,
So if it is rejection, shame, guilt, off track, falling behind, like those are all energies of rejection.
mm,
You're really on, and judgment, you're really on a path of acceptance, love, expansion, abundance. So the more you keep reframing, like I must be expanding more, I'm stepping more into self-acceptance, you move away from rejection and into acceptance, and you'll be rewarded very quickly on the other side of that.
That's beautiful, Laura. Thank you. And I really love how you like also blend some of the like I guess universal principles
Mm.
into your mindset as well. Because I could say like, hey, this is how it is, but if you can back it up with the quantum physics behind it, like that makes it even more powerful. And what I heard you say is like that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling, that misalignment, it's there to give you clarity. It's there for clarity, right? It's there like, hey, like,
100%.
and it magnifies the clarity. The discomfort magnifies the clarity. And it helps us make better decisions and know what our heart truly wants, right?
Yeah, I always tell people in my coaching, and community that the more uncomfortable you are, the more frustrating you feel, the more ready for change you are. Like you are
Mm,
like kind of moving up the scale of consciousness to a level of like having courage to create the change because you're seeing and feeling something that doesn't feel aligned, that doesn't feel tolerable to where you are today. Maybe yesterday it was fine, but today it's not, and that's okay. So discomfort does 100% indicate you're ready for change. It doesn't mean like throw in the towel. It doesn't mean quit on yourself. Like a lot of people get inconsistent in discomfort or completely get paralyzed in fear or self-doubt or completely stop and quit on themselves. And it's actually when if you use it for clarity, if you do my flip it, you start working the tools and you become aware and then you decide what you want to flip and then you snack on happy and like the other next steps that I teach, like you move through the flow of that because we're here as part of humanity. Like what I like to share with people is like you are here to experience all emotion, not just the positive ones. Like
mm,
you imagine you came to earth to experience as a human being all emotions.
mm,
Therefore, if you're here to experience all of it as judgment free as possible, because then you're experiencing it through a lens of love, which means you're looking at that emotion that you're feeling, even doubt or rejection, through a lens of your heart. Like I'm ready to expand through this negative to get to a greater positive. And suddenly it becomes something you can really transmute. You can really shift it in a very powerful way.
I love it. I love it. I like to tell people that like every emotion is just another flavor of life. It's
Mm,
just another color on the palette. And the
yeah.
way that you said it, it's so beautiful. And Laura, I did want to talk about like, because you just said that discomfort, it
Mhm.
generates you, or well, it might elevate you to that level of necessary courage to make the change. And I really wanted you to share, because it really resonated with me, your thoughts on courage. Like you
Mhm.
told me courage is the line, and I'd love for you to break that down for everybody.
Sure. Courage kind of sits in between fear and love on an energetic scale. So this is me looking at the science of like power versus force, Dr. David Hawkins' work. Like I just love where spirituality meets science. And then I know I'm here to really boil it down into the practical everyday tool. So it's understandable. Kids could do my tools, adults could do my tools, companies, whatever. So the point of wait, tell me your question again. I just want to nail it. That's your
No,
question.
yeah, 100%. The courage,
Oh,
like
courage, courage. Okay, yes. So I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, so the line of courage is between like fear and love. That's what I was saying. But it's a bit of sometimes what feels anger, frustration, what you're sick and tired of, what you know you don't want, but maybe you haven't had enough courage to speak your truth or make the change or leave the situation or stay in the situation or talk about whatever you're feeling stuck in is usually in a lower energy of like self-doubt, anger. A lot of times people feel anger is like the energy of change. And I'm like, it is if you shift it into courage, because a lot of times people just are angry, which is still on the scale, it's in fear and are very reactive in that versus looking at anger and redirecting it to courage and confidence to really make clear decisions towards who you want to become. So, courage is so powerful because it is the energy on a kinesiology scientific level where our body goes from like powerless to powerful. Or fear, like it's power versus force. So it's really like where from a kinesiology science, like muscle test, that courage shifts things. So what I recognize as I like help people through that line of courage is it's helping people out of their overthinking brain, their need to fix the problem, their need to undo the problem, their need to avoid the problem and pretend it doesn't exist. It goes from that and having the courage to face the problem, look at our blocks, internal blocks, like I'm being blocked because of my own self-doubt or external blocks, like it's my husband, it's my spouse, it's my workplace, whatever. And courage is like what helps people go back into the energy of their hearts and get out of the energy of just the overthinking mind that thinks its job is to fix everyone and everything and hyper control things. So I love the line of courage because teaching people when they're right very close to the line of courage is usually when people find me, when they're sick and tired. Like they're not usually stepping into this like la di da, let me make my dream life. Even if they find me from a vision board workshop or my happiness content, social media, whatever. Usually people really want to invest in their change with me when my content is like, you have the courage to create the change, but you gotta be sick and tired of the same old, or you're really not ready for change. You're gonna have more experiences until you're really ready to change. So who I'm looking for always to join my audiences are people who are like sick and tired of things, frustrated. Like I am speaking their language. They're like, they think they should have it all figured out or wherever they're at in life or and they're really being very judgy. So courage really is the energy of change, of flipping negative to positive, of fear to love, of, you know, all that lack to abundance, all the things that I love to teach. It does takes the heart, which is where I design stuff from.
it's so beautiful, Laura. Courage is the energy of change. That is phenomenal. And it reminded me of this quote by Tony Robbins, which is change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And what I'm hearing is that people find you on that line of courage, right? And I wrote a poem actually for Laura, everybody, and I shared it with her. I already shared it with her, but I wanted to read it here again.
Yes.
It was inspired by this concept of courage, and I wrote this, courage is the bridge. Courage is the bridge from fear to love. Courage is the bridge from doubt to trust. Courage is the bridge from lack to abundance, and courage is the bridge from hell to heaven.
Mm.
And this was completely inspired by Laura after she came in and did an amazing workshop for our School of Mentors community, where I'm the head of community there. And I'm just very grateful to Laura for that session and for this awesome game here too. Um, One thing that I was thinking too is like, Laura, do you think that courage is what allows people to point their awareness at what's in their heart? Because I think awareness is the first, I guess it's after courage. I always heard that awareness is the first step of change, but I guess courage to look is what leads to that awareness. And then that awareness leads to everything else. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. I've never thought of it, but as you're saying it, usually as people talk, I can feel alignment to what's true to me or not true to me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's truth in that with awareness, I can change, right? With awareness, I like versus being on, just autopilot, like no one can ever change if they're unaware.
Mm.
Now, having the courage to face what they're like when they're sick and tired, for example, of like I'm aware of what I don't want, that's what people usually find me in. Like I know what I don't want, that I'm aware of that. Now, having courage to look at that awareness with curiosity and being like, I am ready to look at my blocks. Like, what if it's me? What if it's outside of me? Like, that does take courage to have that like awareness to even be open or maybe willingness to look, inside to see like what's there because everything at some point reflects where we're at, the love of our own selves. So it does take courage maybe deep down to know that it's still no matter what, it's your awareness turning on. And perhaps there was courage and the energy of courage before you even looked to see the reflection of that courage, by taking a deeper look at yourself. But sometimes it might just be brought to us. So another thought, as you were asking me, I was like, yes, it does take courage to have awareness and look. But also sometimes without people even knowing it, it can be activated because you turn on the news and you see something you don't like, or someone walks in and they're starting to yell at you, and that's like no longer something you're willing to tolerate. So, without even having like courage, you just might get slapped by, a wall or something that you didn't even know was coming your way. And now you're activating courage to literally recognize that is not in alignment to who I am today moving forward. And that takes courage too. So I would say sometimes it might be an internal like turn on switch, and sometimes it might be because what's coming at you in reality. But I have something even a deeper nugget to share,
Okay.
which is the attraction of those things that get thrown at you
Is us.
is also us. So you may have had the courage to have a deeper desire that then attracted that curveball so you could get to the other side of it and become who you were meant to become through that challenge.
Mm.
Deep. Super deep.
Do you think we're that powerful, Laura?
I do. I believe that we
Ooh.
put the divots on our own path so we can become who we're meant to become based on our heart's desires. I do feel that. And, it's a tough nut to crack because a lot of manifesting coaches out there are kind of spewing it out in my thoughts, like not entirely correctly because they're like, you manifested that sickness, you manifested that negative. And I never want to assume like for anyone that they manifested the negative like intentionally in any way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like, what if you have a deep desire And there's infinite paths to that the desire. Are you willing, especially if you want to speed up your manifesting, to take the bumpier path there so you elevate into who you're meant to become even faster?
Mm,
If you're open to that bumpier path, like be vigilant, be aware that like you might receive, I often send up a prayer for the easiest path. Please show me. Thank you for showing me. Like I don't pray like even in lack at all. I'm just like, thank you so much for showing me all the paths. There's infinity paths. Everything exists. I have a deep level of faith. I don't need to create any path. Everything exists in the world. And everything that's meant to unfold exists. Am I lining up to it? Am I willing, if that's a deep desire in my heart, to, withstand the challenges and not give up on that desire? If it's a desire that's been placed in my heart, if I see that vision clearly from my heart that I want that and I feel like I'm meant to be in that vision, am I willing to go through the ups and downs to get there? And a lot of people quit on themselves in the downs, like we were talking about.
mm,
So it's an interesting thought. I do believe, therefore, if you are listening to this and you're currently experiencing a negative that you were like, nah, I would have never manifested this. I can now have enough perspective as almost 50-year-old self, having 5 decades now on this planet, that I could look back and be like, did my mom manifest the sickness?
mm,
What if her deep desire, like 2 years earlier, were I want to raise these three girls and to be the best they can be? And then through the process of me witnessing her, the power of her positive mindset, I learned an intangible skill set that I now teach the planet.
mm.
Now she's alive today. She's 70. She's enjoying her 8 grandkids, even though despite she was given 2 years to live. And like not only, like the point is that she went through this really tough negative, but maybe she desired something even bigger. And through that process, all these other components happened. I don't know. It's just the more I know, the more I don't know, and I'm totally okay with it because there's so much unknown. And I think I thrive in that. I love these discussions.
I love it too. And what I've seen from all the millionaires and billionaires that come into the school of mentors, yourself included, is they all have what I like to call an invincible frame of mind. It's a
Mhm.
way of perceiving life and perceiving the experiences that we go through that makes you invincible. And the way that you're perceiving it, this perspective that you teach, you're invincible if you look at life this way. Like the,
Really are. I
the
feel so powerful and so unbelievably connected to unconditional love. Like I have completely rewritten my relationship with God, and I have like this unconditional, unafraid. Like whereas, and doesn't mean I don't get scared. I do get scared. I do feel doubt. I do feel fear. But the ability to use your mind, like the supercomputer it is, to align to the energy of your heart, which is so unlimited,
mm,
to then align to the unlimited of all that is that we don't even know, all these, things out there in the world, universe, realms, whatever, but then have such pure intent to tap into potential and unconditional love and be the reflection of that as much as humanly possible in this lifetime. Like I feel that now so deeply that like, but yet it's so simple. But it took time for me to understand the depth of, how do you shift out of that doubt and into trust? How do you shift out of that fear when you're so scared about something? And, through life experiences, and, I think everyone learns this in different ways. I learned at a very young age that life is a gift. Every day is such a gift. And I see like, I have two sisters and everyone, maybe got different lessons even out of the same circumstances growing up.
absolutely.
But I definitely gleaned like every day is a gift. And sometimes people have their own health conditions or think curveballs in life thrown at them, or they lose someone that's they're very close to, and they learn like, wow, that person's life, my life, like, and I know I'm saying these words and I feel them, but I also know the other side of it because what usually when people find me and is like, I don't feel like life is a gift. I feel like life is a struggle. Am I
Mm,
meant to struggle this much? Like everything's hard. Like life's just throwing me down. Like what gives, Laura? And you know, you have to shift your mindset that these struggles, like, the greater the struggle, the more beautiful the transformation awaits you. That's why you see all these incredible people on stage or doing these incredible things after like, sometimes like the worst case things that you've ever heard. It's just, that whole valley and peak thing, but you don't have to break down to break through. You can really live in a more neutral zone of happiness, that I teach and flow, and then step into the up spiral and then dip your toe into the negative, but not stay there.
mm,
It's just like there's such another way of being and living, and like that you could live the rest of your life not having to break down to break through, just living in flow and going up, flow and going up, touching like the negative. Life's not challenge free, right? You're not here to make a challenge free life at all. It's
yeah.
just how do you navigate them?
Mm. Man, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you. And Laura, I'm curious because you're talking about challenge. What is, with total anonymity, like what has been one of the greatest challenges that you've encountered in one of your clients? They presented this challenge to you, like really, really difficult, and how did you help them overcome it?
I mean, I've had several. I sometimes have people, even therapists, send me like the toughest cases from around the world of, abuse and neglect and, death and situations that you never want to wish on anyone. That's why, like, perspective, I've learned so much sometimes. Like, wow, like it's really perspective. I've seen sometimes people who have witnessed, a family member shooting another family member.
Wow.
And it's like, and then having to raise themselves basically. And they're like the kindest, nicest, like most loving human, and it's just like you have every reason to hate on life, like literally every reason to hate on life. And here you are with this like feeling like, life again is a gift, or that you were somehow spared or a lucky one, or, different things. So I really embrace that, negativity is a perspective, and I'm never here to diminish what people have gone through. I mean, you can't make sense of, a child being raised into an environment and being like abused and stuff. Like no one would ever want to sign up for situations that are like, the most disgusting parts of humanity. Right? No one would ever want to be like, yeah, I want to be like, like that was not their choice sometimes to be raised in environments where maybe like love was conditional or really challenging, or to the point of these situations sometimes that I hear. And I mean, I have helped people after they've lost their own children. It's mostly a lot of like I would say grief and loss around things that like I would find imaginable, unimaginable.
Mm,
That I don't I'm really, really good at not meeting people in the energy of the problem, which is why people with all kinds of different situations, like homeless people to people who have gone through serious trauma. And I am not a therapist at all. I have no formal degree in this, nor would I ever claim to like want to go back into any modality that unpacks some of those things. I know exactly what I'm here for, which is the now moving forward, like 1,000 paths could have led you to me, the most terrible situations and the most, up and down situations, but you're here right now listening to my words and your words. And that is not a coincidence. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're looking to get more enlightened and you're listening to Laura St. John words right now and it's hitting like, wow, you mean someone has it worse than I do, right?
hmm.
You can use that not to feel guilty, like because sometimes people are like, oh, but someone has it so much worse than me, I should be, and then they feel guilt, and I'm like, that doesn't help anyone.
That doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help anyone.
It doesn't.
Someone might have it worse. I mean, I look back, I just put an ornament on my Christmas tree because we're filming this now in December, and I love it. It's like my three boys years ago with my neighbors in Colorado when I lived in Colorado. And I looked at it, and every time I put it on the tree every year, I send an image, I send a photo of it to my old neighbor in Morrison, Colorado. And one of her kids at that time had a brain tumor.
Wow.
And every day they woke up and they're like, don't know if he's going to be blind today, or don't know if he's going to be, like, got to go for brain surgery. Like, you have all these things sometimes that like could be going on in your reality.
Mm,
And they're like everyday reminders, not to like feel bad about your own struggles or problems because someone has it worse, but it was just like that perspective of like this loving family that would just like go outside and, you know, they had a chicken coop and like the little things in life, collect the eggs and like hang out with my kids and play games. Like I was like, this was such a special perspective flip, which is really what mindset is. Like, if I can't change my circumstances, how can I change what I believe to be true about them and my relationship to them so I can see past them? I can
mm,
feel my way through them and I could get to the other side of them because there's
mm,
another version of you that's past it.
mm,
And that's always what I've like lived for. Like, I've lived for the version that's past the energy of the problem.
mm,
And that's why I can handle a lot of cases that people send me because I'm like, I hear you, and that stinks,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
And people will be like, they want to tell me all the reasons why they're stuck. And I'm like, I hear you, but like, now I understand that feeling of stuck. It's your inability to see or feel past your current moment. That's all that is. Stuck is a feeling.
Wow. So powerful. That's so powerful because sometimes it's hard to not meet people in the energy. And I was curious, how can you, how do you not be pulled into that type of energy? And what's the most effective energy to stay in when you're helping those people while still making them feel connected to you to be able to have the trust and connection to pull them out of that? Like, how do you navigate that?
I have spent a lot of years cracking the code on this,
Mm,
and I'll share with you a little bit about my process because it's a process and you have to trust the process.
yeah.
But when people tell me their problems, I visually immediately see them in the flipped positive. So if I'm like hearing even a struggle, and it's not even necessary for me to hear it sometimes, like people are telling me their problem and it's terrible, right? Like it's nothing that I'd want or anyone else wants. Well, first of all, I don't want to like get into the energy of it because I don't want to attract it. Like from a manifesting perspective, if you like meet them there, you're now in it.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's
Doctors
not good for
shouldn't.
anybody either.
Yeah.
So yet you can still hold a lot of empathy. So the way I see it, like visually, I designed a house of manifesting tool where I really show people on a visual spectrum, like how, there's happiness, there's confidence, and trust. So when people, I live in the floor, what I call it's like the upper floor of trust. So when people come to me, I trust they're meant to hear me in the way I deliver content. Like, first
Mm.
of all, I trust that there's no coincidences and our paths are crossing at a particular moment in time, whether I'm meant to be their coach or whether they're just meant to hear a quote or scroll and see a TikTok or Instagram post or whatever it is. I trust
Whatever it
that
is.
our interaction's meant to be. So as if they're down here in a different energy
Mm,
and I'm holding an energy up here,
mm.
and they're like, but Laura, like I'm swirling in doubt down here. I'm seeking evidence. I don't know. I'm feeling all the lack. I keep getting lack. Like I don't know which path to take. This person betrayed me. Like all the reasons to be in trust. I mean, in doubt, with all the justifications that are valid. I hear them because it's, I need to acknowledge like that, I hear you. Like I don't not hear you, but I see you up here.
Mm,
I see you past that. I see you in this vision that, like, yeah, that was terrible, but wow, I see you. You're so strong. Like, there's another version of you that endures that and, like, rises above that. And that's so strong and powerful and beyond that. And so I start speaking to their, like, I can very easily, because I visually see them. I see us clinking glasses, celebrating. Like, I immediately see their future you that I know is in their heart right now.
Wow.
And so I have trained my brain to be able to do this over many decades now to the point I've become a expert at it, in which case like I can help people elevate. That's why I love when people come to me in the energy of true change, discomfort, frustration, a bit of anger, all that, because I know they're ready to see themselves so differently. They just don't know how. They just
Mm,
need tools, but they're so ready. So the moment I like can speak to their higher self, their version of themselves that I clearly see, because I can immediately flip like, okay, yeah, it sucks like swirling in lack and jealousy and doubt and always needing evidence to believe, whatever's true in life. Like that stinks. Like no one wants to stay there.
yeah.
Like I see the version of you that's blah, 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 blah. And then I explain what I see. And like immediately I'm able to charge 10 or 100 times more because I can get people there 1,000 times faster than like hours and hours and hours of sifting through things now. And I don't mean just to say that like on a financial zone, but I'm just saying like I can get people there so much faster if they're ready because all I'm doing is truly holding the space and seeing it and feeling it. And if they're ready, they can immediately step into that identity. They don't
Mm,
have to wait. Like you don't have to do 21 days to change your habits, physical habits. Like it can be immediate. Like the shifts that are happening, even, in my workshop, sometimes at School of Mentors is like the messages, that I get afterwards, like this shifted in me. I manifested this. Like I can't believe I've been working on this for years. And in 24 hours, this happened. And I'm like, I know it was already waiting for you here. I just showed you that version of you.
mm,
You have to step into that version of you. But oftentimes, no one has people that is really holding that space.
mm.
And it's one of the greatest gifts you can give humanity is like, what version of people are you seeing?
Wow. Wow. That is profound right there. Because you're vision casting their highest possible self for them.
And I feel it. So ultimately, it doesn't matter what I see. Like, I truthfully feel it.
It
Like,
is.
like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, people might I don't just see it. I feel it because I'm already in it myself. So I could be the reflection until they step into that energy. I can reflect that level of happiness, confidence, and trust, which is the three elements like of the energies that I most commonly teach, threaded throughout all my lessons of how do you flip, into the happiness, which is that neutral, calm flow you. Well, I got to be that myself. How do I step into confidence, empowerment, drawing boundaries around myself and not others, and making big, bold decisions? I got to be that myself. How do I go into trust and trust the unfolding, even when it's erratic, chaos, negative? I got to be that myself. So the more I practice my own tools, which is like I always am the first to tell people, like I'm learning, I'm a student, I'm human, I have oops moments. I go to the negative, then I pop to the positive. I don't stay in the negative.
Mm,
I do these tools myself, the tools I built for my niece. And it's like these tools now are so highly effective in manifesting because if you could stay in happiness, you're in flow. If you could go to confidence, you're now protecting your happiness. And if you
mm,
could go to trust, you're now connecting to all that exists.
mm.
So you're in the three energies that you need to be in to manifest amazing, not surprising things to just really more effortlessly come your way. And because I can do it now really, really well for myself and others, like it's reflective. So I can hold that bar for people until they hold it for themselves. And it's a really healthy coaching relationship. Like people, I have coaches all over the world sometimes, like even just when they reach out to me from Spain, being like, how do you not attract like these needy people? And I like have I hold a bar that's like you don't you don't need to get it from me. I teach you, I just hold it until you do it yourself, until
Yeah.
you become that yourself. And it's such a fun, like I mean it's why I get up every day and love what I do.
And that's a blessing right there. Laura, I wanted to ask you just one last question before we wrap it up. Like, what is your biggest dream for the world? What is your biggest dream for yourself? And like, what is the greatest impact that you desire to contribute to humanity?
You know, I've learned over the years that it's really, as long as I'm staying in my state of happiness and flow and confidence and trust, I am open to how many people I'm meant to reach in this lifetime with my work. My work is so profound that sometimes I wonder, like, whether, it feels like humanity is ready for it right now. And like, I see I'm about to turn 50, but I definitely see like visions of my 70, 100-year-old self, like with wild impact, millions of people. Like that is not even like a question in my brain. But I have no neediness around it. Like years ago, if you had asked me that, I'd be like, I want to impact the world, and I know I'm here for a positive dent, and I want to up spiral the planet. Like I see all these people down spiraling, and I know I can help fix it. And it carried years ago for me a neediness around like the need to fix the problems that I see or the
Mm,
misalignments I see.
mm,
Now, I just feel that I'm on this path towards like whatever viral nature my content goes into next, whether that's teams that help it go viral and market it or podcasts of my own or however this content's meant to go, I'm always usually being clearly guided and shown
mm,
the next step, the next step, the next step. So I do have a desire to have like this like profound impact positively through whatever ripple effect that I make. And it's not like I don't have like any quotas anymore. Like I don't know whether that's two people. I mean, it's already I think been close to a million, but like I was always like I'm gonna start this whether this is two people, 200 people, 2 million people, 200 million people, like whatever it is,
yeah.
Because if I made it about a number for me, it feels like I'm doing that because I want to like check a box. And what if it's
Mhm.
even bigger than that? One thing I've learned with manifesting is like, what if it's even more amazing than that? What if my logical brain is locked into this thought that it's like millions of people, but what if it's supposed to be billions?
Mm,
Like what if it's even supposed to be more? And the more I release the need of knowing what that is,
mm.
the more opportunities I'm shown. Like I've just helped this guy, Darren, in the last year to two, and he has now a show on Netflix and stuff, a documentary. Years ago, he lost his son and to an E. coli outbreak, and
Wow.
it's tragic.
Mm,
He was like 2 years old or just even younger than that, and he didn't even have the raw meat burger. Like the kid at daycare next door to him had it. He got the Anyway, long story short, those are the tough situations sometimes, right? That you hear of, like these things that you would never want anyone to have to go through in their life. But
yeah.
like, I would have, I'm sharing this story because he's now taken like a lot of not taken my philosophy, but he's infused this mindset like the flip it. And when he first found me, he was very much like angry and upset and definitely not getting paid his worth like around, the world as he would talk at food safety things and feeling very frustrated that things were never going to change and, like things that he was stuck in at that moment.
Yeah.
He has now shifted and transformed and is making a humongous dent on the planet in food safety standards, not only with his Netflix documentary and books and, launching a podcast and his writings. And he just is constantly now sharing with me the next thing that's coming out or the next like award or whatever he's getting honored with. And I am like, this is like, I know I have like leadership courses and he's in one of my leadership courses. And I'm like, this is so profound for me because if you had asked me, like, would my Laura St. John flip it tools and stuff be impacting like the food industry? I would have never thought that,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And yet, like, here's this father who lost a child and then went on a complete mission in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And now it's gone beyond it. Like he's now he's just now such a guru in like these mindsets things, but he's making waves in the industry. So that's to me like really the power of true mindset and people in their purpose, linking arms with other people in their purpose. Because when you're 100 years old and you look back on your life, like you're not going to take any accolades with you. It will really be like, did you fully open your heart to yourself and did you live in your authentic you, right?
Hmm.
Like to the point you woke up every day with that with energy to like go about your day and like you can't wait for the day.
Hmm.
And did you open your heart to yourself and did you open other people's hearts? Did you help open other people's hearts? Because if you help open other people's hearts to themselves, you're really, again, doing the best gift for humanity because the ripple effect of like what I hear on the daily of like my relationship with my kids has changed or like I saved my marriage or like whatever, right? Like it's these relationship things that can shift beyond just the like I manifested $2 million or I got this career shift. I love those too. There's no one above the other, really. But at the end of the day, you really want to be happy and proud of, and fulfilled and having achievements. And a lot of times people are only measuring just the achievements
Yeah.
and accomplishments, or they're having the fulfillment and satisfaction, but they're not going after something. So that drive or that desire isn't being like flamed, like, fanned. So I kind of try to mix the both. But anyway, my deep, big, impact, a lot of my work coming out next is, full circle back to the kids and teens market.
Mm.
I have books to write and I have a lot to say to the planet. It's all in good timing. It's just, I feel like I feel the impact that's made. I see past a lot of the current like breaking down of society.
Mm.
I don't even feel it. I mean, someone in the school of mentors like posted to me the other day, like, what do you mean? Like, you're not triggered like by what's going on? And I'm like, I live so much in my future self. And then I bring that energy into today so much so that I'm so beyond the misalignments that are currently happening. It's not that I don't see them, I just don't feel them.
Mm. That's powerful because if we go back to like a client coming to you in that state and you see them at their highest self and you feel that for them, we can do that for the world as well. We don't have to stay in the negative for the world. Sure, it's happening, but like the only constant is change and everything is malleable. And if you are holding that negative reality, you are actually contributing to the continuation of it. Where if you redirect your energy and always hold that highest vision like you do, then you're holding that bar. And it's, you can help people get there and we can help the whole world get there. Is
I
that,
mean, I have helped countries through war in that way. I mean, I had a Ukrainian artist. Her music went viral on TikTok because she was in my programs. She was posting all these like negative things on her Instagram about like, can you believe this is happening? Can you believe that is happening? I hate this, like I hate that. This and like for again, valid reasons. Like there was,
Mhm.
atrocious things happening in her area. She had real fear for her family. Like that's what I mean. These things are real and they're happening
Yeah.
now. Like I was like, well, what are you trying to get out of like, sharing this just, out of curiosity, not like, let me help you flip this. And she was like, I really want to educate the world on what's happening, but inspire people like to step into their strength, to speak, and I'm like, some people are meant to be out there with the megaphone yelling it out there, right? Like this is
Yeah.
not okay, right? Or I want to, this is my line and this is not okay for me. But she was able to do my flip it, and her music literally went viral on TikTok. She did a Welcome to Ukraine song that went viral on TikTok, like
Mm.
to millions. And it's because she shifted the energy and intent behind what she was posting.
Mm.
And I guess my point is, and then I worked with her to like give out like a bunch of my coaching to people that were like going through war stuff. But like then now same thing with other people in my coaching. My point is that like it's very easy sometimes for humanity to look at like this is the problem. But if you're more of a person like I am that doesn't stand out there with a big megaphone, like everyone has a role, right?
Yep.
I'm not out there like with a big megaphone. I do more work sitting in my bedroom, imagining and feeling very deeply for the planet where it's going. And like people may not believe that, but like I know it to be true based on the thousands of people I've worked with. Because if I hold space, if I like literally look at the people who are coming to my leadership retreats or different things, and I like imagine them, right? Like let's put the great intent for your podcast to be the wild success and impact that you're meant to have, right? If my intent and in like if my intent is to help you hold that space for this podcast and your energy to reach all the people you're meant to. By me sitting there imagining like you getting the testimonials, you like inviting all your favorite guests and people that like are, in it with you and feeling that success of like not just the achievement of like the downloads, the views, the this, the that, but the real impact that you like, your intent, your heart's desire is also in the satisfaction of giving birth to this podcast. It's so powerful for me to, as a mindset coach, like hold that space and belief that I believe that to be true because now you can like be like, you'll hear a naysayer, but you'll know someone's in your corner, like totally believing your vision. And I do that whether it's working with someone through a war or like helping people achieve their dream. So, I did that with my niece when she realized the bigger than Olympics dream, of Livy Dunn being bigger than the Olympics. And now, seeing her in all these articles and success, it's like, yeah, you that intent was held, you know, and a lot of times people might not have that, like in their immediate family, with their spouse, even their best friends. Like they might not have that in their inner circle. So it's a very important thing for anyone listening to know that you're doing an amazing job just through your intent, like that you're
Mm,
for humanity, for someone. That's a powerful part of manifesting is
mm,
holding that space before reality catches up to it.
that's beautiful. I mean, as a Buddhist, we believe that as the intention is, so too will the result be.
Mm.
Um, and what I'm hearing is like, I mean, how I'm seeing you is you are a sanctuary for people's highest selves, and you hold that with your intent, and it does create incredible ripples inside the world. Um, and man, like in my darkest time, just having my one best friend in my corner who believed in me, like
Mm.
that's literally what got me through, like 100%. So I 100% understand the power of holding that vision for somebody, that they can be that highest self, that they can be restored to their full potential again. They can reach that. I 100% believe in that. That's
And it's
beautiful.
beautiful because when you have a best friend like that, it's not needy. Like they're truly holding a space for like, you're stronger than that.
Mm,
You're better than that. I
mm,
believe in you. This is the version I see of you. And the more you hold that for someone else, you naturally then hold it for yourself. So like that's why I can receive a lot of tough situations that people are sending me like the toughest maybe cases or whatever because I'm like I hear you and yet I see this for you. And I believe this to be true, the opposite of like maybe what you've endured. And what if all that lack or all that negativity, but I see this very positive and other version of you. Like, do you feel that too? And it speaks so much to people's potential that as they're ready, they'll immediately step into it. And if they're not ready, there's no need for me to push them there. I'd rather them come when they're ready. And there's enough people that are getting there on the planet right now, right? The readiness of change and discomfort. But, holding that space for yourself, you asked me how I do it, like the holding of the energy of happiness, confidence, and trust to me has been, and the how to do that especially in the face of this your own struggles or others is the name of the game. So that's like why all of my curriculum and content is built on how to flip into that energy so you
Mm,
can be in that energy and then give that gift of that energy. And sometimes it's easier first to do it for others because if you're always putting yourself last, it might be easier to give and give and give until you reflect it back to you.
mm.
But
That's
once you
fascinating.
yeah, once you can reflect it yourself, like you are at a deeper level of it because now you don't need anyone outside of you to change in order for you to feel powerful that you can tap into any emotion at any time. It's really, really powerful.
It is. I wanted to gift you a line. I always say this that attention is our currency and intention is our treasure.
Mhm.
Because like our whole life is consisted of this bank of attention that we're constantly allocating wherever we're allocating it. But as you said, like that intention is really the key to getting into that energy. Like just with it, the intention for holding that space in your bedroom, like
Mhm.
you can empower so many people across the world and impact them on that deep level. Um, it's incredible the power of intention. Oh man, I had something I really wanted to say to you, but now I forgot it.
Maybe I'll come back. I think that, that intention back to like sit like introverts on the planet that aren't like up on the stage like I am, right? Like I am like a front runner. I'm
Mm,
like I'm up out there, but I could also have that quiet space. I always say to introverts, like you are some of the most powerful people on the planet today because you could be stirring the sauce of positive energy in that same way and like everything's connected like it's like it almost makes no sense to people but it's all connected so it's kind of like when you think of a friend and then they call you.
yeah.
Imagine like you're doing that for humanity, but you're doing it for total strangers. Like you're thinking about like, and you could just practice it. Like in LA, I have a lot of opportunity. I see a homeless person and immediately imagine them like having a roof over their head or, instead of being like, oh, and not that I don't have compassion, but I immediately see them like eating a meal or I'll help them out like in that energy, not in the energy of where they're at. So
Mm.
it's like, and I've helped a lot of homeless people in that way. Like some, and some of them have like, you'll see it on my TikToks and things like the messages that I get of the manifesting money, a roof over their head. I'm like, that's because I hold that intent. And if they're ready, they step into it. And it's like the same thing. And that's why I don't label anyone or anything. I think anything's possible. Like anything's possible.
I love it. I love it, Laura. This is blowing my mind for sure. I remembered what I wanted to say, which
Okay.
is like, and we'll close with this, which is like things they don't go straight to another person. If we do them for another person, if we hold intent for another person, everything comes through us, right? So if I hold an intent for you and an energy for you, that's coming through me as well, and therefore I'm benefiting. So sometimes it is more powerful. It's a twofold factor of like if I hold space for this person, if I'm sending love to this person, it's going through me as well, and I'm benefiting from it. And that's how fast karma works. It's like as soon as I say something, I have two ears, it's going immediately back into my own system. So I totally believe that everything is completely interconnected. And I've experienced it at very profound levels as well. Like I've seen like how my shift of perspective changes my perception and experience of an entire scene in front of me. So I totally understand that.
I love it. Absolutely. I mean, your perspective is your mindset. It's what you believe to be true. And, a belief is just a feeling of certainty in the current moment in your relationship to whatever it is that you're looking at. So you can keep unpacking it, but it's just like, right, what is perspective? What is a belief? It's like a feeling of certainty. Okay, then, what about that? It's like your relationship to whatever you're looking at. And it just goes deeper and deeper because then no matter what, it still goes back to you. It still
Yes.
goes back to my current belief of what I believe to be true about that outcome and where I am in relationship to that like you're basically projecting forward. So it's very interesting because, from a quantum level, like everything's based on observation. So, or maybe not everything because there's so many things that are being like discovered now that are I'm like, oh, I love when Nobel Prize winning stuff goes to the quantum science stuff because I'm just like, these are things that were very intuitive to me that are now winning like Nobel Prize stuff. But I know it's as much as I could talk those things, and I am deeply spiritual now too. Like I've just gotten more and more spiritual. I know I'm here for the practical, even though we just had a very advanced, deep conversation. At the end of the day, I can teach a 8-year-old how to be happy, have confidence, and trust. So that's the power of the tools and having very simplified mindset tools to get you there.
And I think that's a true sign of mastery right there. The ability to teach it to a child. I think that also shows a depth of intent and love, because it's not about who can say it with the most like verbose SAT word language. It's no, like who can actually communicate it so the other person understands deeply so that they can transform. So, Laura, I really love your intention. I love your incredible offerings for the world. And if people want to, connect with you and benefit from your teachings, where can they find you?
I am all over social media. So look up Laura St. John. Our main company, Strong Confident Living, is what powers everything. So by the time people hear this, whether there's additional productions, the launch of my House of Manifesting, school communities, I have some content on all different platforms. So just go to the main website, probably strongconfidentliving.com, depending on where you are. You can also look up House of Manifesting. I have some of the tools and communities under that brand, but Laura St. John, you can always find me under there. And, definitely join. I have a lot of free content, not just on social media, but like the community stuff that I'm launching. I have a lot of free tools to get people started, and then from there they could decide if they want to jump into the advanced courses or, other coaching programs, retreats, whatever.
I love it. Well, Laura, thank you so much. Thanks for being the first guest on the Billions of Buddhas podcast. I know that I felt elevated by our conversation, more enlightened, and I know that everybody watching this will also benefit in a similar manner. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And yeah, hope to see you on a future one.
I'm honored. I'll be happy to be back. Thank you so much.
Sure. And one last thing,
Mhm.
what I'm holding for you is a Nobel Prize for the great work that you do. That's what I'm holding for you.
I like that.
I'm holding it and I'll keep holding it. Okay.
Okay, thanks for holding that. That one never came in for me, so I'm really like that's expansive to me. I like that idea. Thank you. Appreciate it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
thanks
Uh,
a lot. I
yeah.
I enjoyed this, and I really I'm honored to be your first guest.
Thank you, Laura. Alrighty. Take care.